welcome back to another video. Mark Hughes has been relieved of his duties as Bradford City manager. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. He's off the ball, he's off the dugout as well. He cannot sit in his seat any longer with his arms folded. Let me know your thoughts. I wasn't Mark Hughes out after a Tranmere game when many decided to turn. I would have just given him the Swindon game and then let the new manager come in Tuesday and already have that agreed, to be honest. But it's going to be interesting. Kevin McDonald has been given that role. I'm not going to read the full statement out because my mouse has decided to stop working and I've got to lean over and it's a bit awkward. But it basically reads, "The thanking Glenn Hodges and Mark Hughes for the time, making memorable memories, getting to the playoff semi-finals," which I don't disagree with, and they talks about the impact of them coming into a club on and off the field. And I think that can be forgotten. I think when you talk about Mark Hughes and his reign at Bradford City, it's got to go down as a big failure. There was so much optimism and hope when they came in that February of 2022, or was it 2021? It was 2022, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't know what day it is. And I must say as well, it's a special video. There won't be a video after this for quite some time. There won't be a video. There hasn't been a video since Newport as well, because I've been going through a tough time in the family recently. You might have seen on Twitter, but it didn't feel like doing a video on it. But with big news, like this, that Hughes has gone a bit of a tongue twister there. It seemed right to do a video on this because it's big news. I had a bit of free time. So yeah, what were your thoughts? Because he can go now. I've wasted money on that, sort of putting him on the wall. What goes next? But yeah, on that, there will be videos in the future, but I need some time to focus on other things at the minute. But yeah, Mark Hughes, it was inevitable really that it was going to go. Like I say, I was late to say Hughes out because I felt like there was a bit of hope left to turn it around. If I said Hughes out, I wouldn't have said Hughes in at any other point. If I lose belief, that's it, I'm gone. And they were a bit late on Adams, although on hindsight I was probably Hughes Adams out because there was no way we're coming back. With Hughes, it was slightly different, but the majority had gone. And when you lose the majority of a fan base, you're not going to bring that back. Memorable moments for Hughes, it's hard to remember some because I can't remember any real standout games. Newport were fun. Newport, yeah, it was recently, but I meant Northampton, to be honest with you, with Critchlow's late goal. That gave us a bit of optimism that we could get into the top three. But last season, as a whole, we were never in the top three, I believe, and we never looked like being in the top three because all the other teams that deserved to go up and went up, they had big sustained runs where they went winning. We didn't. We were just sort of steady away all season. That's what we wanted to do this season, but that were never going to happen with the way we started. We started so poorly, and I think it seems early, but with 80 games in management at Bradford City, with nearly 1,000 games in management in general, with about 20 years experience, I hoped for a lot more. And consistently at Bradford City, there was never real progress or signs that it was going to change or it was going to get better, or we could put on a fight to get promoted out of League 2 this season. I think Tranmere, I was optimistic about it because I saw a team that were fighting for the manager, but when I reflect on that, I think that the players loved him because of how relaxed he was and how of an easygoing camp it all looked to be from the outside looking in. When I listen to ex-players of Mark Hughes as well, it seems to be that way for Hughes. He lets Truman and Hodges do the coaching, and he does the motivating and in-game management, which he's got wrong several times. When you look at that point of view, he don't do the coaching. The style play is his because obviously he'll tell Hodges what to do with the training, but he don't implement that himself. And then the in-game substitutions, the obvious one's Carlisle, but I remember big games last season where we were winning and we drew and lost games because of his defensive-minded substitutions that cost us wins. And throughout this season, that's been a regular theme as well. You look at Stockport, you look at the poor performances at Morecambe and Grimsby. I can't believe that I could be saying this after watching last season where I thought we were poor in performance levels for a lot of the season. I felt like you always felt like last season there were a game or one of games where you thought we're going to kick on. There's a run of games coming where we can really kick on and win a few and blow a team away. Everyone was saying it. We felt like that were coming, but it never came. That's why we just meandered into playoffs and didn't really do anything in there. And that was the same with his first few months before his first full season started. You know, there were never really a point where he showed the consistent results of winning, and the performances were never there either. But like I say, that Morecambe and Grimsby games, I can't remember two performances worse. Maybe Exeter under Adams, but I think most of Adams weren't even that bad for those two. And, you know, then you're looking at Hopkin and Bowie and those sorts. But that those two were so poor, and they were the lowest of lows. And I didn't see much way of a comeback for Hughes after those. But we picked up with Newport. And then I thought, this is the turning point. And Wrexham as well after Morecambe. But every time we turned the page, we went back to the beginning and we looked so poor again. And that happened against Walsall. And Tranmere saw a fight, but there wasn't enough there to go and win that. And when I look at the dugout, I looked at Adkins, and he looked like he was scaring Oyegoki down that side, and a few of our players on his side, screaming, running up to a touchline, you know, motivating his players, clapping them non-stop, just being in the face. That's a team that's really struggling, a team that's poor. And Mark Hughes, throughout the season, whilst there's no right or wrong way how you motivate a team, but you've got to show a bit of fight, a bit of passion to the players on the pitch, and I don't think he showed that. I don't think he motivated them enough. I look at the games, I can't remember the start, but I came up with it early on in the season where there's a very limited amount of games where we've come back from losing the first goal in the game to go and win the game. I remember it happening at Stevenage, but it's not happened a lot, and that shows a lack of resilience in the team, a lack of fight, and a team that goes down very easily, and we've seen that consistently, and I think that feeds from the manager. All stuff like that feeds from a manager. You can go delve into a tactical side of it with the set pieces and the corners and lack of scoring from them, but the big concern of conceding from them a lot and being a bit weak in aerials. That's where we look to improve this season, but that made us slower, and that made us prone to be more exposed at the back when we were building from the back, and we did that too slow. And I'm probably boring you at this point, but I think when you dissect it and you reflect on the time Hughes has had, he's had enough time to try and get his way of playing into a squad, and he hasn't done that. There's been no real... if you ask me how to define his style of play, I could, but then the next game he'd probably change it. I can give you an average of how we played. Possession-based football, we took risks from the edge of our box and played without a purpose, really. You know, you play out from the back to play with a purpose to get the ball in the right areas and to penetrate the opponent. And we didn't do that. It looked clueless and aimless, and the players were confused most of the time. And we played with a deep low block when we didn't have the ball, which were frustrating for us. But then that's the average. It would change week on week out, and you never really knew what you were getting. And that's why it felt like it was inevitable that he should be sacked. Ryan Sparks, where does he go from here? Where do you go from here as a fan? Who do you want to come in to replace Mark Hughes? I've got a top 5. I really like the look of Carl Robinson. I've rated him as a manager, what he did at MK. Charlton didn't really go down well, but Oxford did a great job up until the end. He's got a good record, especially in League One. I think he's probably been looking at a League One job again, but an interesting project. And League Two isn't far away, obviously. So I think with the fan base, with the stadium, with the expectation, with the project, it's an ambition that egotistical managers can go after, and I feel like he could be motivated to go for that job, and I would like him. He plays a good style of football, and he's passionate, so I would quite like Robinson, to be honest with you. He'd be up in my top 5. David Artell as well, good young manager who's proved himself, getting promotions at Crewe, developing players as well, which is something else Mark Hughes didn't do. Couple of loan players who he developed to make look better, your Banks, your Critchwells, your Wrights, but you question how sustainable that was, considering they were the only players he developed. Andy Cook was an already seasoned pro, experienced player who knew where the back of the net were. All he needed to do was figure out a system to get him scoring those goals, and that's what he did. I wouldn't call it developing him, I'd say just getting the best out of him. and then no one else comes to mind if in fact he's made most of the squad worse, but to be able to get to a consistent level where they can get a consistent level of results last season, and that hasn't been the case this season. That's why he's been given the sack. But David Artell, I do like the look of as well. Like I said, recruit and developing players. Don't know too much about his style of play though, so I won't comment any further. But listen to his podcast and stuff. He does talk a good game. I've mentioned Mike Williamson before somewhere. Might be on here, might be with SHD, might be on Twitter, might be on all of them. But I really rate him. I think he's a fantastic young manager, entertaining, good style of play. But isn't just for a few Twitter clips that I've seen. I've seen more than that, and I've seen good development of players. You look at Macaulay Longstaff. I'm sure he came from Gateshead. Camille Conter out on loan there last season. There's a few others who, God forgive me, you forgive me that I forgot. Not even religious. And there's a few other players who are doing really well. This season he's got promotions as well at such a young age, so he'd be one I'm looking at. But I don't think we play compensation. Same with Pete Rouse, so I'd rule them out. Chris Wilder is a different ball game. I think when I talk about egos and managers wanting to take over a job with a project and with a fan base that's there, it's Northern. It's a potential that I don't think could happen, but it's got a realistic swing to it that it could lure him in. But I think he'd look at what's going on behind the scenes and probably turn it down, considering he turned down Reading and a few other League One clubs recently. I think he's looking for Championship, to be honest with you. And you can't really blame him, so I think that's out of reach. But there's something realistic about it that could happen because of the project and how exciting it could be to get us up the leagues like he did with Sheffield United. And then Nathan Jones, I'd love him, but again, it'd be an ego thing where he believes in the project and getting us high up into a Championship, and I don't think he'd come that low to us. I think again he's looking for a project in the Championship or maybe a League One at a push. Nathan Jones, but yeah, he's a really good manager, and he's the type of player, he's the type of manager we need to fire the players up and to give them a bit of a reality check as well. Embed some rules into them, but also get them playing some good football, because it can be quite pragmatic and defensive, but when they've got the ball, they play with a good intensity. Did his Luton sides. I don't know if I've named 5 there, but another manager is probably my number one. I mean, you've got the Crowleys to throw in there as well, but my number one choice is Liam Richardson. Great young manager who did a great job at Wigan, getting them promoted to League One, to Championship, after looking like they were going to go down to League Two when he took over. Tough budget, developed some good young players, tough owners to work with as well, and in the Championship made them really competitive. He shouldn't have been sacked when he did, and that were the beginning of their downfall, because they went downhill from there, hiring Colo Toure. So I'd love him. I think it'd be a great appointment for us, but there's some good managers out there. You've got your experienced ones who I won't go near, but I won't be opposed to him. Your Warnocks, he'd get us out of League Two. I want a plan though to take us forward ahead of League Two. That would be my problem with Warnock. We've gone with that sort of before. Mick McCarthy's and your Holloways. Whilst I don't think Holloway's in the look for a job, Mick McCarthy, I like him as a person, but I don't think that style of football works anymore, and I don't think that he'd do well at City with that style of football either. But that's enough talking for one day. I don't think the videos will be back in the short term, but definitely will be back at some point in the future. Thank you for watching. But to sum it up with Mark Hughes, a manager who was full of optimism, full of hope, and I thought it were going to work out. With so many different avenues we could go down with loan players, with contacts in the game, it hasn't worked out. With Hughes next, the only job I can see him going to is a Salford or Wrexham if something happens to Parky. But yeah, it's definitely interesting what will happen with McDonald as well. What style of play will he play against Swindon? Will he keep the job? I don't think he will. When I look at statement from Sparks, it does look like they've got a manager lined up. Who should that be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the players? Are they good enough to get us into the top 3? Is it their fault or is it Mark Hughes' fault? And do you agree with him being sacked? Stephen Rupp as well. For me, the culture is the point of the club, and that lies at the top with Stephen Rupp. But I'm not going to go into that. That's for another day. Definitely another topic for another day. I could do a full hour talking about Stephen Rupp and Ryan Sparks as well. What are your thoughts on him in the comments down below? Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Have a good one.